and welcome aboard. My name is Alma and this is One Left Inboard. Today, I'm going to talk about that face-to-face interview. That's right. Let's talk about face-to-face, all the things that led me to there. How many times did I do it? What it was like, and why do I think I eventually got the position? Some things that I can share with you to expect, and just some tips that I can give you to do your best at any airline face-to-face interview. Before we get started, I am a flight attendant for a major legacy carrier based here in the U.S. I've been a flight attendant for 2 years. How many face-to-faces did I have, you may ask? Four face-to-faces. 2017 and 2018 were my first two. And then 2023, and then the year before that, of course. So I had 4 face-to-faces. That's not just applications, questionnaires, video interviews, phone calls. That is the in-person face-to-face, 4 of them. I am not one to say everything happens for a reason, manifest it, and timing. These are things that may apply to some people. I, however, did not like necessarily hearing that. I will tell you, however, I'm very excited to have gotten this position when I did. Now in 2022, when I interviewed, I would have done just fine. I had just gotten a promotion with the company I worked with before this, and not getting my flight attendant position that year allowed me to sit in that promoted position for 1 year, learn the job, get really good at it, and know that I was leaving on good terms with my company, that I wasn't leaving because I was miserable. I still had a spirit of gratitude. I just knew that I still wanted to do this more. However, back in 2017 and 2018, I'm not so sure I had all of the assertiveness and problem-solving skills and sort of level of figure it out on my own and kind of lay low and just do it until I know it, and then do it to the best of my ability. Hard to describe why I think I wouldn't have been fantastic. I think I would have been a very lovely flight attendant, but I think I would have been a needy coworker, and I think that I would have been a little upside down on how to do all the things and solve all the problems that can arise as a flight attendant. So very glad. I think in 2022 or 2023 would have been just fine. Again, super glad that I was able to sit in that promoted position, however. So the face-to-face for the airline, only airline that I applied for, which is the airline I currently work for, and it's the only airline I wanted to work for. It's a group setting, and there was about 50 people, and I think it lasted, maybe 4 hours or so. There were some events and exercises and some one-on-one interviews and some group interviews. Now, you would think 4 times I would remember it all. I do remember thinking there were incredibly nominal differences, if any, for each face-to-face process. And as bitchy as this is going to sound, I do not intend to share the entire process. I don't know how much trouble I could get into, and I don't want to be in any. And B, I have worked with people that I really wonder how they tie their shoes in the morning, how they got this job, what lie did they tell? They are my juniority. They're not 20 years plus, burnout. They're new like I am. They hate it and they won't leave, and they treat their passengers and their coworkers terribly. And if there is a way, if this process is intended to weed those people out and only a few have slipped through the cracks, then I do not want to make those cracks any wider by giving any insight that may allow someone to hide their real demon selves and come into this industry with the intention of being bad at this job and staying. Being bad or hating it is not a crime. Just leave immediately when you realize that you don't like it anymore or you don't intend to ever get good at it. That is my bitchy bitch McBitch spiel, and I will leave it at that. Anyway, some events and stuff, nominal differences all 4 times, same airline. And I will tell you, these flight attendants in that room are flight attendants, and they still work as flight attendants, and they're looking to hire coworkers They're not just trying to meet numbers that HR has asked for. They're not trying to meet a minimum. I'm sure they are having numbers and all that good stuff, but that's not their sole purpose. They go into every interview realizing that this person could be their coworker. So prima donna bullshit and super self-centered egomaniacal behavior is crazy and seen as such. They're thinking of how it would be to be spending 3 days away from home with you. And so if you want any tips on how to be, and I know this is annoying, be yourself. I was myself 4 times, and I did the same self was told no thank you 3 times, and that same self finally landed the interview. So I get that is an incredibly frustrating thing to say or hear, but that's all that I can tell you, is that eventually that self will get the position if this is what you want. I also will say that Abby Unger of Flight Attendant Career Connections is the only thing I did differently on that 4th time. I had very similar, if not the same, experience stories, and I had the same resume, which was a pretty airtight one. I'd served active duty military, was a nanny for special needs child and her neurotypical siblings. I did geriatric home health care. I did a very public and forward-facing customer service role for a well-known logistics company, which I later served in the safety capacity of. What do you want from me? So my resume was getting me there every time, and I could speak to those experiences with good stories. But Abby Unger at Flight Attendant Career Connection is the only thing I did different. I did pay for an interview. It wasn't, I don't remember the price, but it wasn't like extortion prices at all. It was very reasonable for her time. And she did spend an entire hour with me practicing my interview. And she was very thorough, very pleasant, and very effective. She cut to the chase, and I'm a rambler, as you can tell. And she wasn't rude, but she was like, let's focus this, wrap it up in an answer, not just a story, and all that good stuff. So everyone talks about STAR method. I thought I was doing it right. I'm sure there's a bajillion videos on STAR method. I will say, I think people who get into the hiring team, some of them have to be there so early in the morning, and some are staying there until later. There's non-disclosure agreements that I think most flight attendants and people on the hiring team have to sign. I think they do it because they care about the people that are joining them on the line for their company. And I think that they're a good read of people. So if you're hoping to go in and kind of sound like super easygoing and very nice and, I just remember kind of talking to them. I mean, not like super unprofessional like I would talk to my sisters or best friends, but I just talked to them. And I was just myself. I wasn't bitchy or nonchalant or like, you take this job isn't even, you're not even that cool. It wasn't anything like that. I was just very much myself. I had a life. I wasn't going to wind up selling toothpicks on the side of the road for money. Like, I had a life, I had a career, I was doing okay. I really wanted to do this, but if I wasn't given the opportunity to do so, I would continue living on. Of course, I, made mention of some of the stories that led to the reason why I wanted to become a flight attendant, and made sure to just get them as condensed as possible with as much heart in them as possible. That I suppose if I didn't manipulate anything because the story was the truth, but I knew what I was working against, and that was me being so very wordy. And so I was able to tell a heartfelt story in a short enough amount of time. So that was one thing I did have up my sleeve, and it was a true heartfelt story. So my first 2, oh my God, my first one, I can't remember if it was my first or second one. But I knew not to say, I love people and I love to travel. And what do you think? I knew, it wasn't like I knew in my heart, like everyone had said that. Like I had did a little bit of homework and everyone was like, don't say that. And it slipped out. Literally, how? I don't know, man. I don't know, but it slipped out, and I was like, I would be a fine thing because I love people. I like to go everywhere. I don't know. I don't know. If I could just go back, just pop, just doink, just pop that person, that version of me. Anyway, whatever. Yes, very funny. I would say, okay, here's another thing that I do want to get off my chest though. I haven't had social media in quite some time. And so these last couple of times that I went, I did not turn to like Facebook groups and stuff like that. But I remember a long time ago when I did have social and I did turn to those groups, these people would just be in there and they were like, oh, you have white fingernail polish. You're not getting it. Your hair's down. You didn't have red lipstick. You didn't have blah, blah, blah. Like, that's crazy. These people want to hire coworkers. Now, if there's something explicit in there, if they're like, your hemline needs to hit blah, 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 blah. And I mean, I think I even remember, I could look it up, but I don't want to waste your time. I think I remember the instructions like saying like, recommending like navy blue or like, you know, like colors like that. And this girl that was in the hiring room with me when I got my job offer was in a Kelly green dress. Me, for the first time, because don't come for me and be like, well, that's what took you 4 times. For the very first time and all 4 times, my hair was down. I think I had bubble bath color, like the bubble bath fingernail polish. I did not have a full beat at all. I had like some, like when you squeeze your hand really tight and then you let go, that color that rushes back. That was my lipstick color for myself. And I think I just had a little mascara on, dusted a little bronzer, boop, the end, hair down, no red lipstick. I was not wearing pearls. I was wearing studs, but they weren't pearl. I don't think. Pretty sure not. I did have a watch on, but I always wear a watch because I'm a timely bitch. Okay? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Anyway, and then I had the color of my shoes were just nude heels. And then my dress was like kind of at my elbows, but not. You know, like it wasn't really, didn't have a blazer or anything. It looked great all by itself. And the line of that, I adore that dress. I will have that dress forever and ever. I just love it. It wasn't not super short at all, but it was at the top of the knee when I was moving around. And I could sort of shimmy it down to be like, touch your kneecap. Yeah, the middle, the exact halfway point of your kneecap. I could get it down there, but typically with moving around, it was just touch your kneecap again, the very top of it. Anyway, that was me at the interview. Hair not in a bun, no red lipstick, no French manicure, no blazer, no black or navy heels, no pantsuit, no, midi length dress, blah, 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 blah. Have done. Didn't get it then. But anyway, I'm not saying that I got it because I like stepped out of the rules. I'm not saying that I didn't get it because I was too into the rules the first time. I'm just simply telling you, if you look professional, everything is clean, everything is debris and ice free. If everything is clean and nice and polished, I think you're going to be fine. As far as my experience goes, I'm trying to look back in there. One girl, she had her hair in braids, but it was down. And then my hair was down, not braided. I saw some girls in like not a like super like CEO business lady pantsuit. Like it was just a regular pantsuit that was in there. So moral of the story, like one girl that I got hired with, not a stitch of makeup on her face. She got hired. I don't even think she had fingernail polish on. She was dressed very clean. She was just clean and professional looking. The end. I don't think I was hired with any males in that group. Oh, yes, I was. One guy was actually a Disney guy, and he had, I guess had been off of work, but he had like a little bit of a beard, but it was clean and trim and it looked nice on him. But yeah, all I'm saying is that stuff's crazy. They're hiring coworkers. They don't, Yeah, if you come in a hoochie mama skirt or like stilettos or open toes or your crusted heels are showing in the back because you have slingbacks on, like those are things that probably are not it. And you know what? I'm going to tell you, and I've never had anyone confirm this, but during the reach test, when you take your shoes off, I think they look at the brand of your shoes, honestly. I don't know. Is that crazy? Am I crazy? I don't know. I think I saw him do it all the time, all 4 times. That could be a conspiracy though. Anyway, I think that I had really a lot of fun. There's so much writing on it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not going to be selling toothpicks, or furniture in Phoenix, but like, it's still like what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? And like, I still was just like, even that 4th time, I was like, anybody would listen, I was like, this is why to be good. And that's why to be good. And it would be better for me than that. And this, and I've always wanted to do it because of X, Y, and Z. And oh my God, this is just the perfect time. So it's hard to say like I had fun because I was just like, I really want this. And I feel like it's going exactly the same way it went those other 3 times. No. Okay. Sorry. That was me falling off a cliff of sadness, not getting it. But that's not what happened. Here I am, a flight attendant, a major legacy carrier, and have been for 2 years. Woohoo. The face to face. Yeah, I wouldn't sweat it. Show up professional. I don't know. Somebody sent me a screenshot of something they saw on social media. And this woman had like a bow just under her bun in the back of her hair. She said she got sent home for it. I'm like, is this rage bait? I couldn't imagine that. I don't know. Unless like they released new instructions that are just like, and absolutely no bows. I don't know. Like, I remember this girl coming in, scarf on the side of her neck and everything, bright red lipstick. So, I mean, take up space in a room, girl. Be present. Don't apologize. Don't make yourself small. But she was just a lot. And she did not get that position. I want to say that was my first or second one. Yeah, she was on the shuttle with me. But I don't know. I think there's just like a level of, I think the people I observe, okay, let me say it like this, since I can tell you all the nitty gritties. The people that make the best flight attendants are just laid back. Okay. Think about that turtle on Finding Nemo, except for they implied he did the ocean version of marijuana. Don't do the ocean version or the land version. It's the DOTs involved. But anyway, they're very chill. They're very calm. Nothing really ruffles their feathers. They either are moms or something. They've handled kids. My roommate in training was a teacher for multiple children. And I want to say she did like middle school or high school, like when they're real crazy, like they've stopped hugging their teachers and being like, no, I love you. And they're real crazy. I think she was like in that age group. Like nothing bothered her. Like there were not 30 children terrorizing her soul if she was just like, no, this is fine. Those people, the best. They know that they don't know everything. And so they'll find out the answers if it's something they do want to know. And if it's something that they need in real time, they've already peeped game on their coworkers. They're using that crew resource management. And they're like, this girl knows how to do it. That guy would be great at this. And they go, oh, can you help me? I need to X, Y, and Z. And those people are like, yeah, I gotcha. There's not a lot of ego involved. They might even like to fly lead. And they might run a tight ship. But it's out of kindness and earning people's respect, not unhinged behaviors. It's who makes a good flight attendant? Somebody who already has their life together. Somebody who is uncomfortable when they're late. So they're constantly, just 10, 15 minutes early. People who especially teachers, right? Teachers would make their life easier by doing like some lesson planning at home. They wouldn't be like, I'm not on the clock, right? So maybe people are doing like the meal stuffs, or if they're on the shuttle with the captain, they let the captain brief them earlier instead of being like, I'm not being paid, sir. Like, just do the thing. We're about to be busy on board. Anyway. They are radical acceptors. They're radical. So when people don't know how numbers work and they ask you where their seat is and you point to their ticket and it says 15B and they're like, yeah, I saw that. Where is that? And as much as all of us want to say right before 16 and right after 14, those people don't ever say that. They're just like, oh, right this way, madam. Here you go. And in their mind, they're like, wow. Okay. Way to go, dude. You don't know how numbers work, man? Numbers are kind of universal for the most part. Good for you. Like they might mildly roast them in their brain, but then they just forget all about it. They just know, they radically accept passengers are babies. And they get spicy if they have to. They go, oh, no. You're not going to talk to my coworker that way. Come here with me and you and me will solve this. I don't like the way you're talking to her. And they're empathetic to that passenger, but they also put distance. These are wonderful traits. These are where a flight attendant who has to say the options over and over again is their blood is not boiling. That's a good flight. Close your eyes. Picture yourself saying the same 4 snacks over and over and over again to about 100 people. Well, about 50 people. Because each flight attendant probably has to deal with 50 people. Okay. Does that make you mad? Don't go to the interview. I wish that I could be more helpful. The face-to-face interview, when I tell you, I don't know what they want. I had a great resume. The interview that I did the time that I got it is the same. I feel like was the same the other 3 times. I mean, my gracious, I don't know what they want, but I know that I'm here and I know that I feel that I'm doing a good job based on customer feedback, my coworkers, some of the flight deck members that I work with. People are usually very complimentary and they say thank you when you've made their day or when you've been a pleasure to work with. And I feel like I'm getting that reassurance all the time. I will say about the face-to-face, they're hiring coworkers, not just flight attendants. I wouldn't put so much pressure. Use common sense. Don't be the flight attendant candidate that makes companies have to tell you to wear underwear. Do read through the policy. But I'll tell you, in that room when I got hired, there were some controversial things like hair being down or bright colored clothes. They were all the right length, covering all the right amounts of body parts. But okay, so what to or here's some advice. I have seen people say they've missed their flight. Oh my gosh, that is crazy. Now, I did miss my flight, but I had taken an earlier flight on my own accord, and I still got in there. Like I didn't rush, I didn't run, I didn't break a sweat. Like it was fine. I just wanted to be early and that didn't work out. And I was still early, but not ridiculously early. And I walked through those doors before probably 60% of the rest of the candidates did. So it's fine. But like I've read a lot of people like missing the flight that was going to get them there, or they got there and they made it through traffic on an Uber and blah, 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 like 3 minutes late. And they were like, that's insane. This is a time, departures are on the 1 minute, like on this, it's not just like a guesstimation or a rounded number. Like it's not just about starting the boarding process, getting everyone on, closing the door, pushing back. Like the flight deck has to get a whole new flight plan. You can't have the 2 airplanes at the same exact point in the air at the same time, or that's like a mid-air collision. So minutes are important. It's down to the seconds that are very important. So I would go in the night before. I would just do some research on the city that your airline is doing their face-to-faces and just get a hotel, get on that van. I mean, listen, there are a lot of people that were there like an hour prior. There are a lot of people that was like, I was too scared. And they're camping out like they're buying a Furby in 1993, baby boy. They were there so early, but it doesn't matter. Good on them. They were not late. And that's what we're all trying to be, is not late. So do what you got to do. Do your research. Don't miss your flight. That's crazy and unhinged. Maybe spend the night at like a cheap hotel that has a free shuttle. You're going to want that. Set your alarm, set multiple alarms. It doesn't like this. The time thing is like either you know how or you don't. Like either you are uncomfortable being late or you're always squeaking by. And if you think that you were squeaking by, but when I'm a flight attendant, it'll be different. No, it's probably not. That's not how that works. Okay. So let's not get our dream job past training to just find out that in our probationary period, we're fired because we can't get to an aircraft on time. I'm not judging you. I have played roulette with clocks before. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying. Other tips for the face-to-face. I don't want to tell you what to do because I'm no good at that. I think Abby Unger says best practice. There are some best practice things. There are many, many flight attendants that have made vlogs about this same topic. I only wanted to make an episode because this was really a lot of times. I know so many people that got on their first try, and good for them. And I know a lot of flight attendants that are really, really fantastic flight attendants. They loosen up a little more when they're not on duty. I think we, of course, present ourselves in a very professional way. And not that we're uptight, but we're a little more rigid to meet our airline standards. And when we're customer facing, this is the catch a flight attendant ... on TikTok. So we're just a little bit more aware. But you get these flight attendants, they let their hair down, literally and figuratively, and they're easygoing. So I would say that yes, you can be yourself. And you can be both professional and yourself. I would love to hear from other flight attendants that had to interview several times, apply several times, and then flight attendants who got it on their first. I worked with this one girl, she got it on her first attempt. She's like, I didn't even know how competitive it was. And trust me, when I hear from these people, I'm never resentful. I love the exact moment I got this position. I was in such a perfect place for it. 2 years into it, and every single thing has unfolded with like suspicious perfection. So very happy about that. I'm so glad I did not get it back in 2017, 2018. I think I'd have been fine if I would have got it in 2022, but super glad to have got it when I did. Here I am, still loving it all this time later. If you have anything to add, constructive or not so much, if you're trying to be petty Betty spaghetti, nobody can stop you. Leave all of what you have to say in any comment section wherever you found this podcast. Of course, feel free to share it. My name is Alma, and this was One Left Inboard.